Well, hello and welcome to the CRM Zen Show where we talk about all things Zoho. This is episode 349 for April 4th, 2025. If you prompt it, Zia will build it. From Zenatta Consulting, I'm Brett Martin.
And I'm Tyler Colt, and let's get right on into the show.
Oh, it's been a good week, Tyler. It's been a good week.
It has busy week. Very busy.
You know, we're a few days after Liberation Day here. I don't know if I'm feeling liberated or not, but one
Feeling
thing I can
liberated
tell
from a
you
bit of
is
asset value in my portfolio. They've liberated some of the value of asset holdings. So I guess maybe in that case, I feel a bit liberated.
Yes, I've been liberated by I have much less money than I did before, and if that's the case for a lot of you people, if you are planning on going to Zoholics and you're like, well, I can't, well, we can save you 20%. Okay. You have to head over there, use the code Zenatta20, and we will liberate 20% of the cost of that from your order. And your portfolio is only down 5%. So that should help out,
There we go.
There you go. Yeah. We always try, always some good stuff. And also, if you want to save more money, we are running a massive promotion on our team training. Normally, courses are $1,500. That's lifetime, and it covers every single person in your company for each one of our courses. So if you hire someone, you say, hey, go take the CRM course, go take the desk course, go take the projects course, take the marketing course. But we're knocking it off. We got a big spring sale going. The little Easter bunny is hopping into town and he is just slashing prices left and right. The opposite of a tariff. The opposite. It's an anti-tariff. $1,000 off every course. So you can pick up each course for $500 a piece. You can pick up all four for $2,000. You say, well, why would I do that? Because I could just buy each one and clip into that. Because if you buy our all access lifetime team training to all courses, as we add new courses in, you get them. You get them for free. You don't have to worry about it. We have a whole financial one that's going to be coming out. We're discussing an analytics one. Who knows, but there's a lot going on there. And you say, well, Brett, what is this team training you speak of? Well, let's show you.
Are you struggling to get your team trained in using Zoho effectively? Considering the hefty costs of team meetings and onboarding sessions dedicated to Zoho training, there has to be an easier way. Say hello to efficiency with our Zoho team training courses. Zoho CRM made easy. Become a project management pro, top-tier customer support, and maximize your marketing impact. Are you ready to equip your team? Start today at zenatta.com/training and let us lead the way.
Major news in the world of Zoho campaigns. Bot filtering and Apple Mail privacy protection compliance at Zoho campaigns. Bot filtering is the big one. If you're using campaigns to send out email, well, now your reports will be much more accurate because if a bot opens your email, it's not going to show that to you anymore. And oftentimes bots do. Even if you subscribe to a newsletter, it's a newsletter going out, someone might have a filter, mark it as read, put it over here, do that kind of stuff, and it's going to show up as open. Well, now, I don't know how they're doing it. Magic. But you basically are going to get accurate reporting on your campaigns and see what you really got. What's a real open? What's not a real open? So very, very good stuff. And what's this Apple Mail privacy? Apple Mail users can apply mail privacy protection. We got so excited about the bot filtering, I didn't really read down to the rest of this story. What's going on here, Tyler? Did you read this?
MPP, this is essentially what Apple does when it receives an email is it drops in preloaded tracking pixels. So it makes every email appear as opened. So this essentially can inflate your opening ratio if you're sending to a lot of people who are using Apple Mail. So it's ideally going to reduce those such that it only shows it as an open if the user actually were to open that particular campaign.
Yeah. Well, we turned this on. It turns out only 3 people read our newsletter. It's disappointing, I have to say. Goes out to 7,000. 3 people look at it. Why? Why do we even bother? Speaking of our newsletter, which comes out every week, every Monday at 6 a.m. Pacific time, it has all the news we cover on this show. And today we're only going to talk about 7 articles of 17. There were 17 pieces of news, so you really do want to read the newsletter. And we hope those clicks are real. We hope that you open them and look at it. But anyway, really good news for those who are using Zoho campaigns to track their adoption rate and what they're doing there. So, and we might have something more on this a little later on in the show. And moving right along, hey, sales forecasting can now detect anomalies in user performance. So what do we got going on here, Tyler?
Yeah, so essentially this is a little lightweight AI tool that's going to bake itself into your forecasting, where the goal is essentially to identify sales reps that are significantly above or behind against their quota or their norm, right? So you might have a sales rep who normally every month brings in 50K, just random number. This month they're on track for a lot less or a lot more. You might want to be notified that ahead of time as a manager or a leader. So here, this is like the perfect graph to show. You basically have like the prediction based on an average, and then it's identifying good and bad anomalies that are above or below that long-term moving average. So just kind of a bit of an insight where if somebody's ahead, you might want to poke them and go, hey, you're killing it. If somebody's behind, you might want to say, hey, work a little harder on those deals.
What's going on?
So just a bit of extra insight that you don't have to pull your own custom reports to find this type of information.
Fantastic. All righty. And then moving on, this is a big one for all of you MS Teams users. One of the most anticipated updates here. So if you are using CRM and you would like to log calls made from MS Teams, well, you can now do that. So basically, it's pretty nice. I didn't even know this was a thing. I didn't know MS Teams had a VoIP system.
Yeah, and this is for calls even to like outside of your organization. So like calling a lead or prospect using Microsoft Teams. One thing that's interesting here is it looks like it's going through CRM telephony, not phone bridge. So it doesn't seem like this will yet be supported for Desk and Recruit, but you can now use it inside of CRM. It's going to work similarly. Click to call, you log the outcome. It takes the start and end time of the call, kind of similarly to what you're used to, and should work really nicely. So this is one that we've actually had a lot of questions and requests for, just because if you have MS Teams and you're also paying for a VoIP solution to do this same thing, you might be able to save a little money here and start using MS Teams for that same use case.
Pretty slick. Very, very, very nice. All righty, and moving right along. Wow. So Prompt Builder in Zoho CRM. This is a pretty notable enhancement. So you basically now can build a custom button, attach it to Zoho's large language model, attach it to ChatGPT, and you're telling it, look at this record I'm in, pull this specific data in, and tell me something about the client. You know, in this case, they're saying, give me a SWOT analysis, strengths, weakness, opportunities, and threats for this particular client based on its market position, industry trends, recent developments. And it is going out and basically grabbing that information and giving it back to you. This is just one example of the power of these buttons you can build, but it's kind of unlimited as to what you want to do with this, because you're basically building a bot that's going to pull whatever information you want from the record and give you whatever information you want back. Super powerful. Super powerful.
I actually recorded a tip video that'll go live next week on this, where I set up a custom button inside of a deal record. I feed it the industry of that client as well as the description of what they said they need. I gave it some context about who we are, right? We're a service provider. We implement Zoho One. And I told it, hey, give me a list of questions I should definitely ask on that prospecting call, as well as potential applications or features that might be relevant for that industry, right? It did a pretty good job. You definitely want to play a bit with the prompt. I always recommend actually using like a chat GPT to help you make the prompt. Big one here, if you scroll up just a little bit, they've got these different formatting options that you can choose from. Definitely recommend trying out a few different ones of those. So like I first started out with just like sentences, I think one image above for our YouTube viewers here. So yeah, I started off with short paragraph. I didn't like that too much, so I switched it over to bulleted list, and then it did a great job. Kind of broke it into nice, clean sections with clear delineations. One thing I'll also highlight that's pretty cool is it actually gives you the response inside of a chat window where you can then ask it follow-ups or clarifying questions. Like it kind of starts a conversation. It's not just like a one shot where it gives you the answer and you're done and you can't really do anything else. So yeah, really the devil's in the details here. The quality of what you get out is based on the quality of the prompt. So do a lot of testing here and really try to make it content rich and useful. But otherwise, really cool piece of functionality.
Very, very nice. And you mentioned this there, but I will tell you, been playing around with this a lot lately. Ask ChatGPT to refine your prompt, to write your prompt. Here's what I'm trying to get. And it will actually give you, it saves so much time, right?
Yeah.
Give it like you write a basic prompt, give it the prompt chat, say, hey, how would I really phrase this if I want to get the best information out of you? It will come back and give you that overall format. It's crazy. Producer Freddie and I were playing around with Sora the other day and basically trying to get some specific images. And we just took that prompt, put it into ChatGPT and said, what do we need to ask Sora to get this, what we're looking for? And man, it saves time. It saves a lot of time. The future is here. It's coming a lot quicker than I thought it was going to, Tyler.
Absolutely.
I have to say, it is coming fast. All right. Moving on, you can now create modules using natural language prompts. Yes, more AI. So you're in the CRM and you're like, man, I want to create a new module to do X, Y, and Z. I wonder what fields I should put in there, what I should do. Well, now you can just go ahead and say, hey, I'm creating a module. Here's what I want it to do. And basically, Zoho is going to come back. Z is going to come back and say, this is what we should do. Here's what we should call the module. And here's the fields. And I'm assuming it's actually creating the fields too. Yes.
Yep. It gives you that little prompt and then you can review and finalize before you actually create it. I do recommend you review. We'll have a tip video on this next week too. I kind of took through building one of these out. One thing I will note, Zoho, if you're listening, bring up the little guy. There's definitely the character limit on this for what you can give it as a prompt is very short. I definitely like to see that expanded. Like when we were creating apps in Zoho Creator using CoCreator, super robust. You can drop in paragraphs, documents, flowcharts, whatever you need. This is like 1, maybe 2 sentences long is all you're allowed to give it. So I would like to see that expanded a bit. I'll also note for those who are going to try this out, when it adds lookup fields, it did a good job at adding the correct lookup fields, but it did that thing where it didn't name related lists. So they were all called related list 1, related list 2. So just make sure to check those. It's quick and easy, but just you'll want to just do one little double check before you really push this live. But nonetheless, it did come up with some good field ideas that I might have not come up with initially, which was nice to see. So well worth trying out. Again, even if it just saves you a bit of time and gives you that jumping off point, you're always going to be able to come back and edit these modules in the future, right? So it's not like one and done and you can never do anything with it again. You'll still have that ability to make changes.
What is the next gen CRM UI?
That is CRM for everyone.
It is
CRM for everyone. You have to be in that for this to be available.
Got it. So they call it CRM for everybody. One now called the next gen UI.
They use that sometimes. Yeah, they call it that sometimes.
Okay, so yes, I'm not sure which one I like least. All right. Well, moving on then, you can now improve record access with default access level features. So what does this mean? Well, you're kind of locking things down in your CRM, and Tyler can only, Tyler's got his records, and maybe other people in the organization can't even see those records or do anything with those records. But what you'd like them to do is, maybe be able to see them. You now can actually set that as a default level access for certain people in the organization to say, hey, guess what? You can at least have visibility into these records.
Got it.
Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Yeah, it's kind of a nice little thing. I mean, that's one of those things that comes up all the time. Is people need to see it, then you're going around, you're monkeying around with their permissions as to what they can see. You can share individual records sometimes, right? You'll go through and you'll share it with somebody in the organization, but you have to manually set all that up. Now you don't need to do that anymore. You are good to go. All righty. And this one I kind of didn't see coming, Tyler, but I'm trying to understand. This had to have been a request, but in Zoho Sign now, I could send a Zoho Sign document to you as a recipient manager, if you will, and then you would determine who in the organization needed to sign it. I imagine that could really come in handy. Oftentimes we're talking to people when we're sending out a proposal, but they're not the signer, right?
Yeah.
So I imagine we could say, hey, Greg, are you going to sign this? No, Joe's going to sign it. Okay, great. I'm going to send it to you. You can just fill Joe's information in and pop it over to Joe, and then Joe can sign it, kind of thing. It does take away that back and forth of, oh, well, thanks for sending it over.
Oh, yeah.
Now, if you could completely redo the contract, right, with the proper person in it. So,
yeah, this is one of those ones where I could definitely imagine there's probably a decent amount of orgs that are just going to switch over to all of the recipients being this role, as long as they can assign it to themselves. Right. So if I can receive it and I'm the role assigner for the client, if I can just say, yeah, it's me, right, I can just do that, then this could save a lot of time. Like we get that probably 1 in 20 new clients will be like, hey, yeah, I approve this, but I'm not the signing authority for the org. You could always just forward this. So it'd be interesting to see like what's the difference between like me forwarding for signature versus managing recipients. Could be useful for like maybe multi-signature documents that are a bit more complex, where just a simple forward might not work. But yeah, really nice one for those who need it. A lot of people, if you're dealing with a lot of small businesses, who you're talking to probably is the signer. You might not need this quite so much. But for larger organizations that have stricter signing workflows, I could imagine this being very useful.
Yeah, I'm not seeing here as to whether or not the manager can actually assign themselves. Because that would be, you're right, you would never actually need to add anybody in, right? Just send it to the one person. Yeah. They could add themselves if they're the signer. All right. Moving on with the news. That's it. That wraps the news.
That it does.
Let's head over to our code share of the week. All right. JP has given a very long code share and a very long tip on using Regex to search for a record in multiple Zoho CRM modules using a phone number with Deluge. So Tyler, if I'm reading this correctly, we're basically using CoCreator queries to go out, look for phone numbers across multiple modules, and then give you back the results saying, hey, this phone number appears on these 5 contacts and in these 2 accounts, those kind of things.
Yeah, exactly. Really, the value here is something like searching on email. You don't need this, right? Email is email. Lowercase, uppercase, doesn't really matter for a Deluge search. You're good. You just use it and search. Tricky thing with phone numbers is just the variety of formats that exist, right? Is there a country code? Are there parentheses? Are there dashes? Are there dots? Are there spaces, right? It really just becomes kind of a pain in the butt. And so one way to do it is to hard code all those formats and manually search for each. Problem with that is you're always going to have that one that exists that you didn't think of. That's not going to come back with a search. So using Regex is just a much more dynamic way to do that, where you're kind of trimming out a lot of the formatting in the search query to make that search much more robust and avoid having to like hard code a bunch of edge case phone number formats into your search criteria. So really nice code share. Again, this is those ones where if you're in a flow where every single record has an email address, probably don't need this. Just use email, right? Do the search that way. Like for us at Zenatta, like we get email for every prospect. So like I wouldn't need to search on a phone number. You have a lot of businesses, maybe you're a real estate, you're working with, B2C, you're getting people placed in rentals. A lot of that's phone number based. And so in that type of use case, this would be super useful. So great job to JP on this. It will save the right person a ton of time.
Yeah. And if you're learning Deluge, super nice the way he did this. He basically broke it down, what we're doing in each little step of the code. And then at the very end here, he gives you the code all run together. So super, super nice. Nice job, JP. If you don't know, our code share lives over on Club Zenatta. That's club.zenatta.com. That is our online community where other like-minded Zoho people, 2,588 of you, get together and talk about your various Zoho problems and solutions and all of those kind of things. And we would love it if you would join. All we require is your email. Head on over and join our community over at club.zenatta.com. And with that, let's head over to our website, zenatta.com, and see what we got going on over there. Well, sometimes, Tyler, when you release a banger video, as you like to say, the marketing team takes it and does a complete breakdown and write-up of it, and your how to set up Zoho Desk in 7 easy steps was banger. And so guess what? We've got a complete breakdown of everything you discussed in that video. Also some references to some other videos that you might find interesting that will tie everything in together, such as this one by Josh on mastering the Zoho Desk knowledge base and help center features. So kind of, if you're a person that wants to kind of skim through and say, would this video be worth it for me? You can read this article and go, oh, why, yes, it would. Yes, it would.
Yeah. Definitely a nice one, quick video, kind of just to highlight the point that while you can go miles deep with Zoho Desk, you generally don't have to for version 1. So I want to just highlight like, hey, here's the handful of things that we really do like 95% of the time when we're working with a client who's new to Desk, just to set up that good fundamental baseline where it's up and running, tickets coming in, working tickets, closing them out. Then you can circle back and go deeper and deeper over time. But we just find it's one of those tools where you get like 75% of the value and 25% of the work. So start there, right? And then expand to these other functional components.
Fantastic. All right. And with that, let's head over to YouTube and talk about our not 1, not 2, not 3, but 4 tips of the week. You guys have been on fire, Tyler.
That's the plan.
There's a lot of great stuff. So Wayne has given you a complete breakdown of the Zoho campaigns bot filtering, how to set it up, what you need to do, the entire thing. So basically, everything you need is covered in this video and what it's going to look like after you have set up bot filtering. So no need to wonder, hey, how am I going to turn this on? What am I going to do? How am I going to use it? What's going to happen? He's going to step you through every single aspect of it, building out the campaign, doing it all, and how to use it. That's it. He's very excited about this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a big deal for email marketers. I mean, it's I will say, I do think buying lists of cold leads and blasting emails is going to go the way of the dodo as time goes to infinity. But for any of your outbound email marketing, these bot opens make it really difficult to figure out what's working and what's not, right? You kind of look at the open percent as the effectiveness of both the list quality and the subject line of the email. But if that number is getting inflated by 20, 30%, how are you even going to know if you got a good list, have a good subject line, like a lot of that data? So really important to set this up. A lot of marketers might not do it immediately because it's going to make their effectiveness look a lot worse, right? There's a bit of a counterintuitive incentive here in that turning this on will lower your reported open rate, but at least you know that they're actual real opens, right? Which is what actually matters. So take the hit up front. It's going to make your data look worse, but it's going to make your data real. And that's really what matters at the end of the day.
So to shorten what you're saying here is when you turn this on, you're going to realize that 99% of your email marketing is totally ineffective. Yes. Is that what you're saying?
Some percent. Yeah. Some people will be 99, some will be 50, who knows? But it will almost certainly make your open rate go down in terms of what it's reporting. But again, those opens weren't real anyway. So you got to like reset your baseline and accept that like this is the more real number that you're working with so that you could at least make informed decisions on real data.
Right. But I feel better even when the numbers are false. It just makes me feel better, Tyler. It's like, yeah.
And that's the challenge. That's why some people
this did
won't turn
really
this on.
good. This did really good, It's like I always wonder when you look at someone's YouTube channel and they have 2 subscribers, and then they have 100,000 and they're showing off their shiny plaque, and you look at their videos and you go, nobody's watching this. They feel good because they got the little plaque from YouTube, but did it really do anything for them? I don't know. It's like buying yourself a participation trophy, I think, in a way.
Essentially.
There you go. All righty, and moving on to our second tip, CoCreator. So Maya is going to step you through basically a quick overview of CoCreator in this video. And so she's going to talk to you what it is, how it works, what it does, why you might want it, what it's going to do for you. And then after you watch this video and you say, wow, that was great, you can move on to her second tip, where she is going to give you a complete demo of CoCreator and step you through the actual usage of it, setting it up, using it, building an app. And she does all of this in 17 minutes. So it must be very efficient, huh?
Yeah, it's pretty darn good. I mean, it's very robust. So you can put in very long prompts. You can include documentation, whether it's spreadsheets of data, flow charts that you've built out. I mean, if you're watching us on YouTube, everything you're seeing on the screen, reports, dashboards, widgets, like we didn't make that. The bot made an educated guess at what you might want on a dashboard. Again, similar to in CRM, realistically, this is probably going to give you like a version 0.5, a version 0.8, right? Like there's probably going to be some stuff you want to do. The nice thing is she covers making the app with a prompt, creating a new form with a prompt, and then actually creating Deluge with a prompt. So in this example, we've created an order management app. Maybe change orders wasn't included, right? So we'll do another prompt and say, hey, I need a change orders module. Then you might think, well, if a change order gets approved, I need to update that order, right? That's where you need the Deluge. So then you come into the Deluge builder and ask it to build you that script. When a change order hits this status, write this data over here, send this email, do this other thing. So really cool. Again, like some of these, you're going to want to review and test before you really push any of this live. But if it cuts out 80% of the work, why not give it a shot, right? And then build further from there.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know she went through this. She's like, yes, the code is correct. Yes, the code does not fail. So it's doing a really, really nice job. And like you say, if it gets you 70% of the way there, that's a big time savings. I mean,
huge.
It's just
huge time saver.
Huge. So nice job, creator team. CoCreator is going to be big. And then our last tip is just a little fun one. This is using Linkthread. So if you're familiar with Linktree, Zoho has Linkthread. It basically is Linktree. And this allows you to build those out. And we covered this on a CRM Zen show. I kind of went off and started talking about this on the show and was kind of showing us building one and what it could do. And we kind of went through it a little bit. So we snipped it out. And here it is how you can build your own.
It's cool. Free little app. Works well. Why not?
Yeah. Yeah. It looks like I forgot to comb my hair that day. I don't know.
Something was going on.
Some is going on, man. Anyway, we actually switched over. We have a link tree that we use at our trade shows that we hand out to people, and a little QR code that's got our link tree on it. We just moved the whole thing over to Linkthread. Freddie and I were playing around with it a little bit as well. And you can embed videos on it that actually play right on the phone. So they don't actually leave the app. So you can embed a YouTube video. There's all kinds of really cool stuff you can do with this. So worth checking that out as well. And if you don't know, everything lives over on our YouTube channel. That's youtube.com/Zenatta. And all of our videos are there. And boy, Tyler, you have got the entire team on fire, I must say.
Yeah, big shout out to Maya kind of helping out on these as well. So you're going to be seeing more and more of her, of me, of Wayne. Just really want to make sure that all these new updates, all these new functionalities we're just getting them covered quickly and effectively for you guys so that you can make a decision on, does it make sense for you to give it a try? So as always, comment section below is open. Let us know what you want to see. We do read through those. And when someone suggests a video, like I think the quotes one that I made was someone was like, yeah, you haven't done a video on quotes in a while. Can we get an updated one? It's like, yeah, good point, commenter. Last time I talked about this was 2022. Quite a lot has changed. So leave us those comments. I read them. We don't have time to respond to every single one, but those video requests are really useful for us. And I like to honor those by then, making the video. So let us know what you'd like to see.
And shout out to producer Freddie, who's been cranking them out. He gets the raw footage. They don't end up at him all pretty and beautiful. There's some editing that has to go. Yours do. Yours are perfect. One take, Tyler.
One take, Tyler. That's what they call me. Yeah.
All righty. And with that, before we wrap up the show, we've got a question of the week. Let's azaz this, shall we? All righty, Tyler. Our favorite pranic healer, Bruce Sexton, has a question for us again. Last week, did we help Bruce with something last week regarding module setup using deals to kind of track his patient? Yeah. Hey, Bruce, here's what we got for you this week. You set up a bi-directional sync between Zoho CRM and Zoho bookings, including a custom booking status field in the CRM meeting module. While it mostly works, a user can manually update the CRM booking status field in ways that conflict with the actual booking status. I like to enforce validation rules like only allowing no-show if a meeting is in the past with no existing status, or only allowing completed if a past meeting with no status or marked as no-show. Rescheduling should only be allowed if the status is upcoming, no-show, or cancel. What is the best way to implement this kind of validation in Zoho? Tyler, your thoughts? I have no idea.
So a couple different options. The simplest one would be don't let them edit it. If this is something that's reliably being updated by a script, maybe there shouldn't be that option to make an edit at all. If you do want to keep the option available for them to make edits, if you're like, hey, maybe the script is not super consistent or whatever it may be, then you could go into the module settings and set up a validation rule. When you're doing things like if the meeting's in the past and status is empty, you might need a validation rule that's using Deluge code. You may be able to get away with just like a field-based one for some of these. But so I would say first, make the decision at a high level. Should they be able to update this at all? You can trigger a lot of automations out of bookings when meetings are canceled, no-showed, et cetera. But nonetheless, the other option would be to essentially go in and try to create some type of validation rule using the module settings that's going to look at those different fields. I'm thinking in my head, you probably need to do it in Deluge so that you can check like is before, is after, age and days, things like that might not be available in just the field-based editor. But that'd be something you'd have to play around with a little bit to determine.
Very good. Very good. Nice tip. Another good tip, Tyler. Don't buy drugs. Become a rock star, and they'll give them to you for free.
Good point. Yeah.
For bonus points, name that movie in the comments there, because that's what we want to see. We want movie trivia on the CRM Zen Show. Don't buy drugs, kids. become a rock star, and they give them to you for free. All right, well, I'm not going to say it. We'll see if anybody makes it to the end of this video, you know?
Yeah, this is the test of who watched the whole thing, if they try to answer that question.
The whole video can give us an answer to that question. Anyway, classic movie. Some consider it a Christmas movie. It's out there for you, you know? Anyway, all right. Well, that does it, folks. Thank you so much for watching the CRM Zen Show. We've been doing this for 550 years now, it seems like, and we will not stop. If you'd like to meet with us and discuss how we can help you with whatever you're doing in the world of Zoho, please head over to Zenatta.com and click on Book a Meeting. We would love to talk to you.
And on the website is also where you'll find complete episodes of the show, as well as links to all the stories we discussed today. If you want that news delivered straight to your inbox every Monday morning, be sure to subscribe to our newsletter. Last but not least, we always appreciate when you like and subscribe here on YouTube, as well as your choice of podcast app. We'll see you next Friday.
The CRM Zen Show was produced by Podcaster Zen.
Take care, everyone. Bum, 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 bum.
Feeling pretty liberated.
Ready to start my weekend. Never felt freer.
Yes, I've been liberated from my money. That's what's going on here. Oh, Lord.